All right. All right, what's going on, guys? Hey, welcome to the show. No one's on yet, but I'm going to go ahead and keep this thing going. So, I thought I'd pimp it out a little bit. I figured the walk and talk, it gets a little noisy now and then. I sat down outside the other day and decided to try something new in front of the RV. That worked pretty good. I don't know about the sound quality. I got to tell you, if you guys have any ideas, Psychic Sarah, hey, right on. Hey, guys, welcome to the show. So let's talk about something here. So here's the plan. So first of all, let me draw your attention to something. If you go to Podbean, the RV Survival Guy, I'm also simulcasting this on Podbean as well, so that we can interact. As you can tell, I'm having a little trouble keeping up with the phone. If you go to Podbean, you can actually type in questions. We're going to have conversations. I can actually invite guests on Podbean. But for now, here's the plan. The plan is to do one of these quality live shows every week. And then, of course, there's the standalone podcast, which will be on Podbean and most major platforms as well. The idea here is to get some questions. All right. So, any questions you have? Until then, I'm kind of going to cover some stuff that I don't know. I think is relevant. Here, let me say this first and foremost. So, in the last live podcast, I had said, well, you shouldn't be trying to make your RV, like your home. That seems like a kind of a short-sighted statement when I was sitting there thinking about it, because I'm watching this young couple. I think they're probably in their early 20s on a YouTube channel, and they're remodeling their older fifth wheel. And it's a nice fifth wheel, but they're excited, and this is the new adventure, and so they're doing this thing, and it's just so cool to see the energy these folks have, right? But I think maybe I might need to back up on my original position. I don't think that it's as critical as I originally thought for us to all be living this traveling around the country, and we should be making our RVs our home, especially given this 20-year-old couple is headed in that direction, right? They are, and I firmly believe that's the direction the country's going, right? I think that I'm watching shows and different information, different sources about what's going on in the world, and the truth is, I'm retired. My wife and I's retired. We have a full income. We have a chunk of money in the bank. We have the ability to earn money, and I'm looking at the price of houses, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, that conventional structure, that American dream, it's just not quite delivering for what it takes to actually roll with it. So I'm going to go ahead and back away. If you want to, no matter what your RV life looks like, just make the best of it. I think that's the ticket right there. And that's kind of why I'm here. I love Sharon. I spent 23 and a half years in the federal prison helping inmates, mentoring them, giving them guidance. And then I get out of the prison, I don't have anyone to talk to. So that's part of the reason that I'm sitting here now. So let's talk about the heat. We're just south of Pueblo, Colorado right now. We're in Florence. And the heat, it was 106 degrees yesterday in Pueblo. And I told my wife, I said, our redwood is still just an RV. I mean, it's a nice RV, and we have some amenities. It's like an apartment on wheels. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure what the solution is. I'm actually entertaining the idea. There's a couple things I have going on to kind of fight the heat. There's only so much you can do inside the RV. I think yesterday midday it was about 100 degrees here, and so the best we can do, the best my AC units can do, even with the modified return air and all the stuff I've been talking about, the best I can do in the RV is about 76, 75, 76. And we use circulation fans to keep the air moving. So I'm looking at moving my game outside here in the next week or so. I'm probably going to try and incorporate a misting system off of my RV, where you actually go outside, it's under the awnings, it throws that cool mist out, drops the temperature down a little bit, because I'm telling you what, it is unbearable. So, you guys got any questions for me? Come on, throw something up here. Got something for me? I'm waiting. All right. Well, anyway, let me see. Let me think. What do you want to talk? What's important in RV life? I did a thing yesterday, or a couple posts about my outdoor kitchen arrangement. Right? No matter what you do, you can't seem to. I mean, RVs seem to just hold on to the smells, right? You're over there cooking a pot of green chili, and you got garlic and onions and all that. And if you cook inside, I mean, it just permeates. We actually use our Maxi fan along with our hood fan in order to try and pull the odors out. But it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I like to cook outside whenever possible. And if you take a look back at that video I posted, I use a New Wave induction cooktop, and they make some better ones out there. The New Wave isn't exactly the best appliance as far as it goes. They tend to time out. It tends to drop heat. So if you're thinking about having a portable cooktop, I would go with something that's a little more established. And I'm not sure, Magic Chef I think makes some. There's a couple other things, places out there where you can get those new induction cooktops. So they're really great though. They boil water really quick. They're portable. So that's one thing I use. The other thing, utensils I use for cooking outside, I have the, what's it called? The ultimate smokeless grill. It's like this monster grill. It's about 24 inches long, and you can cook a whole package, a family package of chicken in them. And again, that works great outside because it says, well, smokeless, but it's really not. You get that grease starts to cook, and the next thing you know, you are your house is smelling like a restaurant, and you spend days trying to get it out of it. Use a gallon of Febreze on all the fabrics and stuff. But the problem with those airless grills is that they don't work as well as they say they do. The one we have, it doesn't get as hot as it probably should. And then, of course, they are a pain in the butt to clean up, right? So, and of course, everyone knows about the Instapot. I made a pot of green chili for a potluck we had in 100-degree temperature. Got to hang out with the people in the RV park, which was kind of nice. We had, since COVID, we haven't had the opportunity to actually, people got weird. They just got weird. So I went out there and cooked that pork green chili, but the Instapot has a sear feature on it. It doesn't work real well. I mean, it doesn't cook it as fast, doesn't get it as hot as it should. As I mentioned in the video, most of the meat you buy now is injected with water in some way or the other. So I like to use the New Wave, induction top. Get that heat really hot on that pan so I can sear that pork before I actually make my chili. So that's one of the things I like to do. Let's see what else. You seen this? You seen the quick shade, which is nothing more than two 12-inch extension poles, some sun fabric, and a little bit of sewing. Took me a little time. I had to hand sew that because I don't have a sewing machine. Let's talk about other RV maintenance, because that's my big foundation: RV maintenance and personal safety. So we're sitting here in the RV park, and we're going to be here for a while. And there's a young guy across the way. He's about, I imagine he's about 25. And he's got his girlfriend, soon-to-be wife, and they're living in a small bumper pool. And she's got some serious issues with the front of this RV, and I think it's a 2016, but delamination. That's where the material they make the RV out of starts to separate, and it's caused by a couple things. Excessive heat can do it, even if you don't have any water issues. But I think in his case, because I'd asked him, he's had the RV for about a year and a half, and he's never been up on the roof. And that's that front nose cap thing where the nose cap comes around, and it's just bubbling up real bad. So I went over there yesterday and I talked to him about it. And the ticket here is you have to inspect your roof, because if you don't understand it, the way the roofs on most of these RVs are established is you have the framing, and then they put 1/4-inch plywood or 3/8-inch plywood. It's pretty flimsy, down with staples. But they don't glue the staples, and then they lay it over with a rubber membrane, and that's your roof for your RV. So, but what happens over time, especially if you travel, is that roof starts to vibrate. Everything in your RV vibrates when you're running down the road. They're not designed to stay together. In fact, the quicker these things fall apart, the more money the dealerships make, either in repairs or in getting you to buy a new RV. That's just kind of that cycle that goes on right now. So. But you have to inspect those roofs, because if those small staples push up through that membrane, it'll rub holes in the membrane. And those are small leaks, but over time you can accumulate a lot of water. And then, of course, that water doesn't have any place to go, so it doesn't evaporate. It turns to mold, and it deteriorates that decking, and before you know it, you've got a mess on your hands. So my recommendation, and you might have a different idea on this, you can chime in on this, but my recommendation is to inspect your roof at least every 3 months. And it's a good idea if you've been traveling, if you're moving from point A to point B, and it's a cross-country trek or whatever, even just to take a look, because sometimes things come loose. I've seen people in RVs running down the road, and they've got this massive bubble where their roof membrane is actually pulled away from the decking because it's supposed to be glued down. And just this massive bubble. Looks like they got a balloon on their roof. So keep an eye on that because it is a nightmare. I mean, black mold, especially if in your humid areas. Let's see, and I've mentioned the suspension. I can't harp on that enough. Here's another point. Let's talk about this for a minute. RV hooking up and getting ready to go anytime. Here's the thing. It gets kind of exciting. You know, we went to Destin, Florida. We spent 5 months in Destin, right on the water, and we made a lot of great friends. And it was hard. It's hard to see people go. And the sad part about RV life is when they go, they're gone usually. I mean, there's only been... man, I don't think I can think of anyone that we have actually spent time with twice since we've been RVing, as far as because we just don't generally travel to the same place twice. And I don't know, just something happens, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. You make friends and you chat, and of course we're online and we say hi and we follow each other on Facebook and that. But you're basically saying goodbye to people that you've spent an entire winter with, right? In Florida, and that's probably the saddest part about RV life. In fact, we stayed 1 month too long in Destin because we didn't realize we needed to, or we shouldn't have. But everybody left in May 1st or April 1st, and we left May 1st. Well, all of our friends, the entire RV park, everyone we knew left. And I think, don't tell my wife I told you this, but I think it kind of psychologically damaged her a little bit. It was almost like we lost our friends, right? So you look out the RV park, and that first week after everyone was gone, we're like, my wife's like, man, this is sad. And I'm like, yeah, it is sad. I hate saying goodbye. But here's a point to be made. When you're hooking up, or when someone's hooking up, and you're in the RV park, no matter what your relationship is with them, or how important it is to say goodbye, do them a favor, and don't engage them while they're in the process. You might tell them the night before if they're getting ready to pull out, and you're friends and you want to stay in touch. You might talk to them the night before, and tell them, after you get done hooked up, let me know. And then I'll come over, or we'll come over. We'll just wait for you to finish up. Let's just stop by. We can say goodbye, do our hugs, handshakes, high fives, all that. And there's a reason for that. Have you ever seen the back of a 1 ton or 3/4 ton truck with the 2 matching dents on the bed rails? What that is that's what happens when we allow ourselves to get distracted while we are hooking up or while we're setting up. And it can be catastrophic. I mean, it really can be. You forget to lock the hitch, or you forget to connect your brakes, your safety cable, or any number of things. And there you are. I mean, it happened to me, and I wrote the book on it. I still allowed myself to get distracted. So there I am. We're in Florida, getting ready to go, and of course, people are coming by. Hey, what's up? And I just hate to be rude, but. So we get down the road, we get clear to Colorado, and I realize I left a $100 water pressure regulator on the spigot in Florida. So someone got him a nice regulator, and I had to learn the hard way that sometimes you need to pay attention to what you're doing. That's going to save you a lot of heartache, and it could be catastrophic. Like I said, the other thing that we used when we first started RVing was we used checklists. And I had an app on my phone, and it had a list of things we had to do for setting up, for taking down, pretty much for running the slides in, and we went through it. And then, of course, before we actually jump in the RV to head out, of course, we have to walk around. We check the windows. We check the slides to make sure they're in. I torque the lug nuts on my wheels. I recheck the hitch connection to make sure that I'm still good there. We do the safety light check, or the light check, to make sure we have blinkers and we have all everything's working fine. Until you've got this ingrained, until you're set up on it, I suggest you follow a list, especially if you're new to RV life, because crap does happen, you know what I mean? So anybody got any questions about anything? I've tried to solve the issues of heat. Ryobi does make a 24 volt or an 18 volt mister fan that you can set in a bucket. Apparently these things are made of gold, like most things nowadays. So the unit's about, if you get a battery and a charger and then the unit without the bucket to put the water in, it's $200. And I was talking to Sandy, and I said, I don't know. I don't think $200 for misty water. I think we can do better than that. But uh, I don't know what's going to happen. My opinion of it is that it's just going to keep getting hotter. And the truth is, you can only do so much as far as an RVer goes. If you're stationary, you have the option, depending on if you own the land or not, to put a structure up to kind of shade your RV. They do that a lot in Arizona. The other option you have, I've seen, and I haven't looked into it, but there's a framing system that you can use that actually attaches to the top of your rig, and I'm not sure if it's a quick attach or it's permanent or what it is, but then they do a sunshade over it, and that keeps the direct sun heat off of the roof of your RV. The other option that we're thinking about doing, I know it works for the winter, is we have custom skirting for our RV for the winter. It's black. So I haven't put it on yet because we're going to be here for a while. I haven't put it on to see if how that's going to impact our cooling. I'm really not sure. I think you put black skirting around an RV, and I think it's going to turn the bottom of my RV into an oven. I'll be down there baking bread or something. I'm not sure about that, but all right. Hey, look at that. Wow. Podbean, we got some visitors. That's cool. Hey, any questions for me at all? Come on, guys. Anything at all? You got something you want to know about? Because, I mean, we can talk about personal safety. We can talk about maintenance. If you want to talk about tires, and I mentioned this before, suspension. That's my go-to. That's funny, but so when I get ready to travel, my process for moving this rig across the country is it starts about 2 months before we actually move. I don't want to load it all up into a week, but I go over every inch of my rig. And there's a couple reasons. Number one, I like to maintain it. This is my home. It's not that I enjoy working that hard on the RV or any of that. It's simply the fact that that's how you make sure you don't have problems. And they creep up very quickly. And I'm diligent about it. An example is on your slides, you have kind of like a water track between your slide that runs down right at the back of your slide, and it actually directs any water that comes towards the inside of your RV down and out. Well, on the bottom corner of most slides, you have it's a trim piece. It's a metal flashing that kind of locks that corner in place. And what I had discovered, which I didn't notice, and I've cleaned my rig I don't know how many times, but that water was actually running down that track and it was dropping in, and the sealant had failed on that bottom edge of the slide. So I go filling around underneath, and of course I don't have any soft spots because it hasn't gone on that long. But when I talk about going over every inch of your rig, those are elements that could cause you a major situation. I mean, think about it. If you have to pull a slide completely out of your RV in order to replace the floor, or to try and do it while it's in place, is a nightmare. And I mean, there are plenty of things that are better to do. Walking on the beach, hiking, exploring is always more fun than spending a day in the hot sun, washing your rig and looking for places that the caulking is fading and inspecting the roof. But man, I'll tell you, it's a mess when that happens. And depending on where you are financially, of course, that can be catastrophic. So, anybody got any take on what's going to happen for the future of RV life? Because my thought is, RV spaces are going to continue to get more expensive, and if you were interested in investing, I'm going to tell you right now, I believe that an RV park is a dynamo. That is the way to go, because this is the new standard, I think, for people that are of a medium income. I mean, if you're making $60,000 as a couple, you're going to struggle to pay for a $400,000 house. And that's just the ticket on it. So let's see who we got. Hey, Joe Cooling, what's up? Bill Willard, what's up? David, let me see. Bloomberg, Colorado. Bloomberg Co. Okay. Anyway, I'm a little bit of a dork here. Like I said, I told you I'm new to this. So Kentucky water. Oh, I got a couple more people on here. Hey, what's up, guys? On Podbean. Nice to see you. Spread the word on this. I do have to ask you for that. I don't know if you realize this, but this is actually it's putting some effort on. There's some effort involved in this thing. What the heck is it? Light up your live. Let me see what I'm going to check some of these features out. Cancel. Oh man, sorry guys. I'm not the best at this. Let me see what we got here. Oh, make a splash. All right, they're trying to sell me some stuff. So Anyway, let me think. What else is going on RV life? Oh yeah, so renovation wise, I got something coming up here. So it requires you to be a little creative with your storage options when you're trying to keep organized. And I think the critical issue with a lot of RVers is when you first come from a conventional home to an RV. First of all, we're not sure what we need, right? And of course, it's always overkill. All right, I kind of started out RVing like I cook, or at least most people do. Our advantage was we started out actually backpacking. About 3 years before my youngest graduated, my wife and I decided to become friends again. So we decided to do some high country backpacking. And I'll tell you what, if there's anything that'll make you stronger in a relationship, it's spending the night scared to death on the top of a mountain because you think a bear is outside, only to discover the next day that it's actually just a branch. And the shadow that you kept seeing standing up, it's just a tree that's waving in the wind, but so we're kind of accustomed to smaller living, which is cool. But I think for us, it was a little bit of an easier transition. But the truth is, you only have so much space, and the more efficiently you can store your stuff and define what's really important to you, the easier RV life is. Because remember, everything you haul, you're going to have to move, put away, account for. And if you're like us and you're pretty thorough, about once every 6 months, we kind of go through all of our cupboards, all of our cabinets to make sure we don't have any hidden issues. Maybe a leak under the bathroom sink or the kitchen sink, or just to see if we have any bugs or any other issues. And that's also a time for us to purge our RV, because usually our cycle is this. So we travel around the country, usually about April or May. We usually show back up in Colorado because Colorado is our home base. We schedule our appointments, medical appointments, a year in advance, so we have the opportunity to come in. We already know we have doctor's appointments. We follow that calendar. That process usually takes about 2 months, maybe 3 with the delays now. But so we usually book our stay for the summer or for at least 3 months, and then we get all of our doctor stuff out of the way. We get all of our eye appointments and all that out of the way, and then we head out. But as a part of that, we review all of the stuff we're carrying with us, and we kind of have to have a conversation about, are we using it or are we not using it, right? So, and then we have a 5x10 storage unit. It's not a big unit. I used to do portrait photography. We have snowshoeing equipment, recreational stuff, a few totes with some memorabilia, pictures and videos and stuff that we want to keep safe. But what we'll do is we'll take a look at things like, right now the issue we have is our fire ring. It's been hot outside, and I guess RV life changes. When you first get into, you're all excited, you're always outside all the time, and you're meeting people and doing things. But eventually, having been retired for 6 years now, I mean, there's a point when you kind of want to get productive again. And I guess that's part of the reason that I'm sitting here now, right? So your lifestyle changes. Well, in our case, we're talking about that fire ring and the fact that we don't generally sit outside with a propane fire ring much anymore. I have TV outside. I have my gaming system set up out there. So if I do have on occasion a break and I'm just tired of grinding it out, tired of writing books and doing podcasts and TikToking, I can go out there and play video games. But every so often you have to evaluate what you're using. And if you're not using it, don't be afraid to get rid of it. Put it in a box, donate it, put it in a storage unit, because the less stuff you travel with and the more stuff that you utilize, the more benefit you have from it. I don't think there are too many things in our RV that we don't use. Right now, my wife Sandy just got into painting. She's getting her creative on. All right, I've been inviting her to do that for a while. She's finally getting her creative on it. She's doing some paintings, and they're beautiful. I mean, she's really good at it. But the problem we have is we don't have a dedicated space for her to have her paints and her crafts set up. So I'm actually in the process of designing a kind of like a drop leaf workstation in one corner. We're going to actually get rid of one of our recliners, because I spend most of my time right here. I'm either writing or I'm doing videos or something like that. So I don't actually watch a lot of TV, and we still have the couch in the back, at the back of the RV. So that's a place to sit. So you have to watch for that. Now, I'm kind of nervous about this because, when you measure stuff out in an RV, you think, well, that'll work. It'll be about $100 project, a little more than that. But I'm actually going to get a couple refrigerator boxes. I'm going to do a prototype in cardboard just to make sure the design is right. And of course, Sandy tells me, she goes, "Nah, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." Money's tight, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have, right? It's like you hate to waste it. So, and I'd much rather spend money doing things that I enjoy than to piss it away because I made a bad decision or didn't spend enough time planning. But there's some real creative stuff you can do. One of the things we did in the RV, I used to be a CAD designer, and I still have computer drafting. I have a drafting app on my computer, so I'll get an idea, and I'm probably going to draw this unit up before I go ahead and fabricate it. But there's some great little ideas you can come up with for storage. Like if if the end of your bed has that overhang on it for your where the mattress and the deck of your bed actually extends. If you did a wedge type box that's hinged at the bottom with a piano pin and then latch keys on the side, you tip that thing down, you can actually set shoes in there, toes in, and then put that whole thing back up, and you have a space for storage. The other thing we did, our redwood, it has a partial closet, and then right next to it is the washer and dryer. It's a stackable individual units. But there was this space in there that just didn't make any sense at all. So we went ahead and renovated that. I drew up a new plan, and I gave my wife a bunch of shelving and storage. And that's, if you look at some of my videos, you see that little portable mini skill saw. That's kind of a key element because most of the stuff you're going to do in an RV is going to be 1/8 inch. I think 1/4 inch for most stuff is pretty heavy, except for maybe the desktop on that craft center that I'm going to build for the wife. But other than that, that's about it. Anything going on with you guys? Anything you want to talk about? I'm just going to sit here for a minute and see if you got anything you want to say. All right, here we go. Hey, maybe people do like TikTok. Or TikTok, Podbean. I'm sorry. Anyone have any questions at all? All right. Well, let's talk about fire safety. That's that cop guy, that cop thing in me right now. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but RVs, man, they burn fast. Talking about having a plan. Do yourself a favor. Do your family a favor. Do those people you love a favor, and someone in your crew, because basically this is your ship, right? The RV's your ship. Come up with a plan, a safety plan, a fire safety plan, so everyone understands immediately what they need to do in the case that your RV fills with smoke or there's a fire. It is critical information. This is critical to your survival. I don't care what else you do in life, and I'm going to go over this real quick, because this is actually really important. Part of our plan, our plan first and foremost is we plan for the destruction of our RV. So, in other words, we are planning that we have a plan based on the fact that our RV gets wiped out, whether it gets burns down or gets destroyed by a hurricane or a flood or whatever, gets stolen. One of the things you want to consider is you need to have spare keys on your vehicle. A hide key is really important. You need to have access to a certain amount of cash somewhere on your vehicle, someplace where you can access it in the event that your RV gets destroyed. A couple bug out packs with critical items in it, like a cell phone charger, maybe even an extra disposable cell phone, things like that, that if your primary home gets destroyed, you're not left out standing in your pajamas or your underwear, no money, no keys to the car to get it out of the way, or to your tow vehicle to get it out of the way. And then we secured a lockbox. We've got our secured lockbox bolted down inside our tow vehicle, and it keeps important papers like our passports and our birth certificates and any critical items like that out of the RV. Right now, is this to say the car couldn't catch on fire and be destroyed? Yes, it does, but that's what else you're going to do, right? So that's really important. As far as RV and fire safety or just general safety, key elements. You need to have a strategy where you've discussed it with everyone in the RV where the emergency exits are. Everyone in your RV needs to know how to operate those emergency exits and what the process is going to be for them to not only get out of the RV, but to notify everyone in the RV that there's an emergency. And this is critically important the more people you have. A lot of families are RVing now. God forbid you should have a fire and one of your children doesn't know what they should do if they smell smoke. So I'm going to run through this with you. It's in the book. Oh, yeah. It's in the book. Okay. Everyone should be able to function or be able to operate a fire extinguisher. That's really important, even your youngest child, because that might be the defense you have. And you need to make sure that you check your fire extinguishers at least every 6 months. Smoke detectors are the same thing. I know people say, well, nah, we've heard this before. CO2 detectors. We have a CO2 detector and a propane detector on the island of our RV, which it came factory, it's required, but we went ahead and put another one in our bedroom because we tend to sleep with the door closed. So I want to make sure that if we have plenty of notice if we have a problem with it. So, but here's the process for me. If we have a fire, if we smell anything, the smoke detectors go off. As soon as you're alerted of that, the first thing you do is you announce it. And I announce it as loud as you can, especially if you're not alone, if you got your partner, or especially if you have kids. The first thing you need to do is announce that there is an emergency. Because if you don't announce it, and then of course the second side of that is once you announce that emergency, your plan should include a response. Your plan should include parroting, where everyone that's in your RV is saying fire, fire, or evacuate, evacuate. And the reason for this is because you need to know that everyone that's traveling with you is still alert and conscious and can save themselves, right? Because the last thing you want to do is everybody gets out, and then you realize, oh my God, we're missing somebody, right? By starting that parroting right away, by saying fire, fire, and you can hear their voices and you hear them responding back to the door, giving instructions, that'll get you out of that RV, and it verifies that you've got everyone's attention and everyone is moving in the same direction. So the other critical aspect of any type of emergency with regard to whether you're an RV or whether you're at a mall shopping and something crazy happens is to make sure that you designate a safe spot, that is a place where you meet up prior to ever having any emergency. Because you certainly don't want to not know that your child is in the RV, is she out of the RV? And the reality is you rush back into a burning RV when she's actually on the other side by the neighbor's camper crying, right? But if you designate when you pull into a spot, hey, this is where we need to meet up if there's an emergency, okay? When you come out of that fire, when you come out of that chaos of escaping a fire, you can go to that spot and then you realize right away you have accountability. And this is something you should practice on a regular basis because, like I said, if you've ever watched YouTube videos, man, they burn. These things burn fast. They're made of lightweight material. It's not dense. A lot of chemicals, a lot of adhesives, a lot of laminates and fabrics that and then, of course, it's not just the fire, it's the smoke too, because the smoke is probably more deadly than the fire in most cases. So anyway, bumping it there, Curtis. Thank you very much. Oh, there we go. Aha, I like it. Hey, I'm just trying to help out, and I'm trying to sell books, okay? I will tell you, because I've been online here for a minute now, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in a plug on the book. Let me just tell you about this book. So, got scared about RVing. I was a former law enforcement, always walking around, diligent, had a gun on my hip and all that, and it just wasn't working. I wasn't having much fun, so I sat down and started making some notes just to kind of clarify in my own mind. Oh, hold on. I got a question here for you. Yes, I am live on another platform. I'm live on TikTok as well for those of you on Podbean under the RV Survival Guy, so you can listen to me there. And then I lost my train of thought. Oh, back to the book. So the book started out as just a personal safety guide for myself and my wife. And then what happened is I got it going, and it was working pretty good. It was working real good, actually. And then I was just thinking about all the other ideas we had talked about, all the other things we'd been through, and it just kind of culminated into this book. And it covers mistakes we made. Like even now, every once in a while, I'll buy something, and we've been on the road 6 years, and I'll go buy something, and my wife will say, we had that in our conventional house. You gave that away at the yard sale, right? And I'm like, oh crap. Well, so but it covers that. So we started getting into this thing, and the next thing you know, it took me 2 years to write it. It's 425 pages. But there's just some things about it you just have to know. Here's the thing. One of the cells I keep throwing out there with regard to the book is, how much is it worth? As you're the driver. I mean, in my case, I'm the driver, and I'm like, there were times when I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and I'm looking over, and her eyes are that big, right? We're going through Kansas City, Kansas, or I'm making a wrong turn or doing something just stupid, right? And she's looking over. I mean, it's avoidable. And I think to myself, well, how much would that be worth to you, right? Or to hear the pop, right? You hear the pop, trailer goes like this, and you're pulling over, you're on I-70, and you realize that you blew a tire, or you broke a shackle bolt, or the bearings are burning up, or you burned your brakes up. And it's all because you didn't know something to prevent it. You didn't understand that when you're running down a pass, you drop your transmission into low gear, you throw your emergency flashers on, get off the gas, and then you tap the brakes so you don't burn your brakes up. You didn't know that you should check the tire pressure on your tires periodically throughout your trip, or you should have monitors on your tires to make sure if there's a drastic change in pressure, you can get stopped before you have a catastrophe, or that the just because the manufacturer built the RV, it doesn't mean they built it right, and that you broke a shackle bolt bracket, and now your axles are folded up under each other under your RV, doing more damage than you can afford, than the RV's worth, right? So if it's worth $20, there's the plug right there. Anybody got any questions for me? I'm looking at Podbean. I'm actually really excited about this. I got some people interacting. What's up, folks? Any questions on Podbean or TikTok? Anything you got going on? I'm trying to find a solution to the heat. As soon as I do, I'm definitely going to let you know. I think at this point, the plan for us to get through the summer is I'm going to install some sort of quick, easy to take down mister. Just a misting system like you'd put around a gazebo or a patio in a conventional home. I think that would probably be a solution. We'll see. I think I can get a misting kit for about $30, so it's not a lot of money. I can't think of anything else I want to talk about. You guys got any questions for me? Any way to make this better for you? That's really important. You can reach out to me. The RV at my email is the RV Survival Guy. I'm going to have to double check that. I think it's the RV Survival Guy at gmail.com. If you want to ask questions, you can chime in on any of my message boards. I'm on Facebook. I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on TikTok. I am on Twitter, Instagram. So any of those places. If you have any ideas, and here's an invitation for you. If you have something great to contribute, if you want to jump in on the show, either on the Podbean or on TikTok, reach out to me. Let me know that you got some stories. If you're an RVer and you're doing basically what I'm doing right now and you want to jump in, we can share the platform and maybe help each other and help our audience, which is you guys. Jump in, let me know, man. Got any ideas for videos? I'd be excited about doing something new. Other than that, I haven't been doing much. Let me just explain this. I haven't been doing much on YouTube. The Podbean, this app this video will be on my RV Survival Guy YouTube channel because it's just beneficial. I mean, if you can see it, even if you don't want to watch me sit here and talk, because I'm watching a screen that's doing a little bit of stuff, not much right now, but I got a few listeners. Hey. You can watch it and kind of get another take on it. But I'm just trying to help people out, trying to build my brand, of course. And, it's not really costing anybody anything. So, hey, listen, guys, I'll tell you what. Reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to answer questions. I will tell you, take a look at those videos on TikTok because there's some really good ideas there, especially when it comes to being able to see your how to maintain your RV, things you need to do, things you got to watch out for. We're in it together, right? And this is the life, right? So, hey, listen, I really appreciate all the support. Jump in there. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like. I really appreciate the shares and the likes. That really helps my brand out. Let me see here too. I'm not sure exactly. See, I still have to learn some of the functions of this whole TikTok thing, but I promise I will get better. And then, of course, there's screens popping up. But anyway, hey, listen, I'm going to get on this. I've got another podcast to do. I'm going to do the conventional podcast, depending on how the audio on this works. And then we're going to run into, I've got Your Best Life Defined, which is another podcast just talking about how to wake up every day energized about your life. I'm really into it. I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. Hey, until next time, hey, listen, watch for the TikTok videos. Wake up every day energized. Get excited about what you're doing. If you're not excited about it, you need to change what it is. Hey, listen, love you guys. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for tuning in. You can plan on one of these a week. And then, of course, I'll just do my walk and talk after I get done with my workout usually every day. It'll be about a 30-minute walk, but be sure to tune in. And as always, travel safe, be nice, watch out for that other guy. We always have room for more kindness.